Welcome to CarePOD, a safe place to educate, inspire, and renew the caregiver. Listen in with our host, Dr. Kipley Bell, as she interviews different experts along the caregiving journey.
So I'm here today with Hollie Whaley, executive business coach, C-suite leader, author, and just all around good soul. And I'm just thankful to have her here with us on the Care Pod because, I reached out to Hollie to say, hey, you know what? Caregivers are busy professionals. We are doing all the things. We have businesses, we have teams, we are trying to multitask while caregiving, all the things. Even as I speak, I have my two little ones on their screens, told the 88-year-old mom, listen, I'm in a meeting, so that I can be uninterrupted. So it's important that we also take care of our own lives and move our lives forward. And I'm thankful to have Hollie here with us of Mind Your Business, which we'll get into later here with us on the CarePod. So welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. It's such an honor. I just love what you're doing. I just love you. I think you're amazing. And so thank you for allowing me to be a part of this.
Yes, thank you. So I ask every CarePod guest their why, their journey that brought them to their current state, etc. So share with us your why. Tell us the business behind Mind Your Business, how you got there, etc.
Oh, absolutely. So my why is really, I want to empower women to break out of their box and just really become the best version of them, mind, body, soul, business in all aspects. And so really, that's why I started my journey. That's why I'm here, because I have been in business for a very long time, doing global corporate business for over 25 years. And I wanted to empower other women to really begin to move in their passion and what they desire to do.
So tell me about that. Like when you say, wow, 25 years in the corporate space, at what point did you say, I can still do it better and differently? Because I do think that there comes a point, right, for each entrepreneur to say, yeah, this is good, but I could even do this in a more profound way.
Yeah, I think for me, one of the things that I realized is that I typically don't fit in everybody's boxes. And so I would think bigger. I would think and I would intimidate even executives, right? I would begin to intimidate them by some of the questions I asked, some of the things that I would question about what they were doing in business. I never felt, while there were pockets of individuals and pockets of time where I really felt empowered, I didn't feel like I could make the difference that I really wanted to make. And so for me, it was finding that time to say, I know I can make an impact at a greater scale doing what I'm passionate about. And really, I got here not from the perspective of I wanted to be a business coach, because that really wasn't what I desired to do. What I desired to do was change people's lives. So I wanted to be a life coach. And in the middle of 2020, when I was working in the travel industry and we came to a standstill. When COVID hit, everything stopped. And so I began to really look at what was in me that I could now produce and help it create wealth for my family. And so I took a hard look at it. I had already been certified as a life coach. I hold an MBA. And I said, I want to change people's lives. I'm tired of corporate. I'm going to do this. And then every person that came to me for coaching wanted help with their business. I was
How
like,
about it?
how did I get here? Wait a minute, I'm supposed to help you with your life, and I kind of laughed with them about that. But I soon realized that women, and they were all women, and women were in this place and flux in the marketplace where they're having to stay home with their children because schools are shut down, daycares are shut down, yet they needed to make an income to help sustain their family. Most of us have two income families and they needed that. And so they were either starting businesses or they wanted to build and grow their business. And so then it was like this light bulb moment for me that said, wait a minute, I can take my love of business and my love for people and marry them together and become a successful, amazing business coach that can speak to both sides of it. Because really and truly, we stop ourselves as women. We're more critical, right? So there's that component of it of really shifting the mindset, but also helping to build the business and giving them the language and the tools that they needed for the business side.
Absolutely. And what I hear too is the intersection. The intersection, you can't do business, the business of your family and your business separately. It does intersect those same skill sets, the time management, the interpersonal communication, all of those things intersect. So yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I think that's what makes women so viable in any industry, right? Whether it's in corporate, whether it's in entrepreneurship, is that we hold a skill set to be able to manage those different intersecting points.
Absolutely. So tell me, what would you say to the corporate space now? Because I feel that there's this paradigm shift coming where, there was this whole lobby to accommodate women in the workplace and even men to say, we have to accommodate for child rearing, for childbirth, for parental maternal leave. And now with our aging country and aging boomers, I feel that we're going to need that same accommodation for caregivers. What would you say to the corporate space, and what accommodations would you offer that you feel would be beneficial to your business clients that also happen to be caregivers?
Absolutely. So I think that's a huge place that we find ourselves in this country. And I think that in corporate, they've made some strides to somewhat help in that area. They do offer benefits now that will allow you to set money aside for adult daycare so that you can have your loved one cared for, and it is, comes out of your check and it helps to do that. But I really think that while that supports the caregiver, certainly I think there's other aspects that they haven't really considered yet. And so I think that just like they give leave for new parents, right? When you have a baby, you take a leave, you have your maternal and paternal leave situations going on. You can determine how you're going to take those. Even if you adopt a child, they give you a certain amount of time for bonding with that child. And I think that they need to incorporate something like that for new caregivers or caregivers that are shifting, because as a caregiver, you start at one point, but then as there's decline, you have to make some adjustments. And
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
you're going to find that people have to make a decision. Can I shift or do I need to let go of my job or my income? And I think that it's a very delicate and difficult situation. And I think we need to have flex time for caregivers. We think about it now. I mean, and this is pretty recent that they think about it for your children, but now we need to even consider it for those that are caring for elderly parents and not feel ashamed or trapped by having to do both.
Absolutely. And also the aging woman in the workplace. I've met a fabulous a flight attendant who, spoke to the age bias in that industry and her still kind of clamoring for purpose or to be seen. So even to recognize the value of the aging woman in the workplace and to accommodate her. It's interesting that a lot of these business minded professionals are in their midlife and are happening to, deal with their own transitions as well as those that they're caring for. So, absolutely. So, tell me, you're an author. Tell me about your books and
Yes,
how you got to that space.
sure. And I should have had them handy, but I am an author. I wrote a book called Business Essentials, and it's really a guide to starting your business with practical terms, right? So we can read a lot of business books, and if you're not in the business space or that's not your area of expertise, sometimes it can be very daunting. There's a lot of terminology that maybe you are not as familiar with. So I wrote a practical guide to just help you get your business started. And it really starts with your why all the way through to what you need to do to launch your business. If you go through the book and the workbook, within the time that you do that, you will have a viable business plan. So we cover off all of the things that you need specifically for your business plan. So it's really exciting to have that. And then I do a coaching twice a year on that program. So if people say, okay, I've read the book, I've done the workbook, but I want to gain some additional insight, or maybe they just say, I don't even want to just read the book. I need help. I need accountability to make sure that I get through this program and that I really do it. Then I do offer a coaching cohort that we do twice a year. And we just have an amazing time. I'm finishing one up towards the end of next year, and they'll be ready to launch their business. We've already successfully completed one this year. Earlier in the year, we'll do another one beginning at the top of next year. So it's really exciting to see aspiring entrepreneurs really design, build, and launch their business.
Yes, and you had a hand in it specifically,
Yes.
which is huge too, that you had a
Yeah.
hand in the work of their dreams. So that's
Yeah.
huge. That's huge.
Impactful caregiving begins with you. Become an educated and empowered caregiver to best serve the one you love. Impactful Caregiving offers online geriatric certification, personally curated items for the older adult person in our caregiver shop, Geri telehealth options, and of course, your personal dose of inspiration here on the CarePOD. Go to impactfulcaregiving.com.
There was something too that came to mind when you were talking about your cohorts, even for the women that now say, I'm now lost my loved one, I'm beginning anew, I'm ready to find myself again. There is even space for those caregivers who say, they're now have the time and the space and the freedom and the mindset to say, you know what? I can fulfill my own dreams and desires. So this is a good space to mind your business. Tell me about mind your business. I love it
Yeah.
too. Mind your business for
Yes.
our CarePod audience is Hollie's tagline for her business uh, coaching space. So tell me about that. I love it.
Yes. So I talk about minding your business because so many times as business owners, we like to work on our business, not in our business. And a lot of people don't even understand the difference. And working in our business, an example of that would be if you're a baker, then you're baking all the time to sell your product. Working on your business is looking futuristically at expanding your business, hiring people, doing your financials, really understanding the business side of it. So I often tell people, I want you to mind your business. I want you to really take time out every week to schedule time just to work on your business. And then I also use it with my mindset coaching, right? You need to mind
Brilliant.
your business. So let's take care of your mind. Let's take care of what you're feeding yourself, all of those different things. So it just really has come in together. And I'm really hoping in 2024, I want to launch my podcast, Mind Your Business, where we can dig into those things because it's so critical to really seeing small businesses grow and scale the way they need to. Because a lot of people, again, they launch their business, they do their branding, they've got a name, but then they don't know how to really build the business. They just work in it. So it's almost shifting from that employee to a CEO mindset and
Yeah,
really
and that
making
that
sure
was
you're looking
definitely
at the right.
something I've had to learn, absolutely, and still do. And it's
Yeah.
important for those cohort of us that are in the kind of healthpreneur space. So now, you're doing your thing, you're seeing patients, but you have a heart to monetize sincerely. And so that is huge and a lesson I continue to learn as well, to be able to discern, what's an appropriate monetary decision for my branding. So really,
Yeah.
really important. Absolutely. So, what has been the most transforming experience for you as a business coach?
I think the most transforming thing for me is two taglines I've used in the past and just sayings that I constantly use. And one is done beats perfect
Mhm.
because I have a tendency to be a perfectionist. And in being a perfectionist, you cause yourself to then procrastinate a lot of times, or just it's never good enough. So you always want to fix it. And I've had to just really teach myself that done beats perfect. We all use our cellular devices, and every one of the tech companies will tell you they will put something out and then they perfect it as they go. Because if they waited until it was 100% perfect, we would never see it. Right. So they just kind of add to it. They push out new releases, they do new things like that. And so I've had to take on that mindset, which was very, very difficult. And the other one is do it afraid. I
Mm.
have to do it afraid. And there are times I've had to make decisions that were calculated risks for the business to say, is this the time? Do I do it? How do I do it? Am I putting money in the right places? The other thing is really looking at my own entrepreneurship and building. And it's like, is it time to bring on a team? Is it not time? How do I pay for this? I mean, all of those things, those calculated risks, I just have to make sure that I do it afraid. And I really look at it and say, is it more critical for me to do it or not do it? If I don't do it, will I always regret it? And I've had to, walk
To
by
push.
faith a
Yeah.
lot. Yes,
Yes.
push is a good word.
I get that. I get that. I get that. So, what what are your 5 tips, if you will, right, for the caregiver that says, "What? I have no time to have a business, to hold on to my business, to try to launch a business, to try to manage. How do I do this when I'm caring for pops or moms or auntie? I have barely enough time for myself, let alone." What do you say to that person?
Well, what I say to them and anybody really that is looking at making this transition, make sure that you are honest with your time, how much time you really can dedicate to it, because it will take time. And so I think that if you say, I can give 3 hours a week, then make those 3 hours count. And you would be surprised how much you can do in that smaller pocket of time than you really think you can. And I really think that we struggle with that a lot because we've been so trained that you have to work 8 hours a day and then you get a reward of a paycheck, right? And when you're moving into entrepreneurship, you have the flexibility that when the individual you're caring for is napping or they are, doing something that they enjoy doing, you can sit down and write your book, write a couple of paragraphs in your book, begin to work out what the model of your business is going to look like so you can find those pockets of time. I think where we trip ourselves up a lot is when we begin to say, I've got 20 hours I can dedicate. And you know that you do not have 20 hours to dedicate
Right.
and then you feel overwhelmed and you're like, forget it. I don't have time, right? But the reality is you do. We just have to use the pocket of time that we have.
Absolutely. So tell our viewing audience, we're international. Tell us, do you have remote offerings? How would one connect with you? How does someone get your book? All the goodness.
Yes, absolutely. I do have virtual offerings. Most of what I do is done virtually, although I do have some in person, and I will be doing some more in person masterminds and things like that. But I also, once I do it in person, I also like to offer virtually as well. So you can reach me at my website at www.holliewhaley.com. And it shows my speaking schedule. It shows my coaching, what's going on in the coaching space, how to connect with me. I do group coaching for entrepreneurs that are just starting their business. It's a 1-year group coaching at a very inexpensive price point. I have one-on-one coaching for executives. I do business consulting as well. And then we also have other coaching services. So if you need finance coaching, life coaching, marriage coaching, couples coaching, we do all of that. And we also, my book can be purchased on Amazon. It's called Business Essentials by Hollie Whaley. And it is a book and a workbook that you can get. And so I would love to connect with you. I'm on all social media platforms under Hollie Whaley. So just connect. Let's start working together and let me know how I can help you really design, build, and launch your business. I'm so excited.
Absolutely. And it's a great way to end the year, Holly. You're our last episode for 23. So for those clients that are saying, you know what, 24 is going to be my year to do something for me, to launch into the business space, to have my voice in the marketplace. So definitely connect. Hollie Whaley, Whaley. Check her books out on Amazon and mind your business. Mind your business.
Yes. Yes. I will just say this to the caregivers. As much time as you invest in everyone else around you, take time to invest in you and do something you are really passionate about.
Absolutely.
So take time and invest in you in 2024.
Perfect. Thank you so much for joining us.
Great information right from the source. For more information on how to caregive like a boss, check out impactfulcaregiving.com. Want to be a guest on the show? Contact us at CarePOD at impactfulcaregiving.com.